Hi, and welcome to this Nextage tips and tricks video. My name is Johannes Liljenhjerte, and today we're going to look at the NX interface, how to customize it, and how to save your customizations. Looking at the NX interface, by default we have the quick access toolbar up in the top that is available in no matter what application you're in. Just below it we have the ribbon bar with the different tabs containing different groups. When you have your mouse over here, you can just scroll on your mouse wheel to switch between them, scroll through them. Underneath it we have the top border bar that is visible. Then you have left, bottom and right border bar, which are not visible in this case because they don't contain any commands. In the left side we have the resource bar where we have different navigators, and we also have the roles palette, which contains the different roles that we can save and that are in NX by default, containing different interface setups. We have content. Content is what commands do we have where, and we have presentation, which is how the different sizes are defined of buttons. And that's because right now everything looks pretty decent with the sizes, because I'm running full HD. But if I were to go in on a screen with 4K, these buttons will become very small because they're defined by pixels. And therefore they can be saved a presentation, for example, that is made for 4K, where on this screen they'll become very large because it's just a full HD screen I'm running on right now. So I'll go back to the default one. If we want to modify or customize the NX interface, we can do that by finding the command we would like to add a duplicate of, and then we can right click it and say if we want to add it somewhere in one of the border bars. So I could, for example, add this to the left border bar, and you can see now my drop down here containing the extrude is now being displayed in the left border bar. Then I could right click here and say I would like to remove this from the feature group, and that way I have moved it down. If I don't have the command in the interface, I can also go up and search for it. So I go up and search for example, block. And then we can see it shows me where is it in the NX interface. From this command finder, I can right click and add it to my quick access toolbar, top border bar, bottom, left, right, or I could add it to one of my tabs. This is a really good way if you're new to NX to find different commands and then also add them to your interface. So this is a way of adding commands. You can also add or remove commands by using this small arrow down key in each group on each tab. So you can see it varies depending on which one I click on of these small arrow down in the right bottom corner of each group. And here we can see work on assembly. This one, if I click on this, you can see it disappears, and this check marker also disappears. So I'm just enabling or disabling drop downs or commands. This particular option is also accessible out in the right side, where we see all the different groups that are on this particular tab. So here I have the assemblies group, and this is exactly the same as when I clicked on the small arrow down key. And it's the same for all the different groups. So you can do all the editing in that way on the right side of each tab. So each tab have this. If you go into analysis, you can see each tab have these with the different groups and different commands. I could also right click up on the file tab or in the background of one of the tabs. Then we can see here we have the different toolbars, quick access, right top border bars. We have the queue status line, and then here we have the different tabs that we can say do we want to see them or do we not want to see them, depending on if they have the check marker or not. If I go into customize, here all my border bars become visible because now I can actually drag things around. So I cannot use a command now. If I click on any command, it doesn't start the command, but I can move it around. So notice my pattern feature is now being moved from up here to the left border bar. If I hold down my control key and take, for example, notice that I'm making a copy of it. So in that way you can quickly copy commands from one place to another. You can also right click and say if you want to change the name or want to change how it's being displayed, both with icon size and also if there should be text or not. and you can reset or delete it. Then you have the tabs bars where you can click on, for example, the home tab, and then I can say I would like to reset this. Then notice it goes back to the default state. I could also disable or enable, so you can see it disappears, and then I can jump back here. I can do that for pretty much all the tabs. I could also create a new tab if I wanted to. Shortcuts we'll get back to in a future video. And then icon/tooltips. Here we can change the different icon size. For example, let's take the top border bar, extra small, and you can see it's defined by 16 × 16 pixels. And here you can change the size if you want a larger one. And that is saved in the presentation. Right? So content and presentation. If I want to save the customizations that I've made, I can right click the background of the roles palette and say new user role. Here I can give it a name, and I can also find an image if I want to have an image displayed for this role. I can add a small description. I can say, should it be content only, should it be presentation only, or should it be both the content and presentation of how the sizes are that should be saved. And then I can check for which application it should apply in. And then I can say OK, and we can now see that a new folder for user defined roles have been created, and we can see the image and the name. If I then make changes again by going up, for example, to the customize, and I found out I would like to delete the assemblies group, I can move it into the graphics window. So you can also drag around entire groups and close it. I can right click on my user defined role and say I would like to save my role. Then it takes the current interface and saves that into this particular role. So now we have saved it without the assemblies group. To conclude, we saw how we can change the NX interface in various ways. By right-clicking commands, using the command finder, using the small arrow downs in each group on each tab, using the end of the tab, or using the customize dialog box. We also saw how to save our changes or customizations through user-defined roles. I hope you found this video useful, and stay tuned for more Nextage videos.